The channel that's all about wholesome family stuff isn't as squeaky clean as it seems. Let's dive into the shady side of the Hallmark channel, shall we? The Hallmark channel has always focused on their family-friendly values when it comes to their shows. But in 2017, they got called out for their fuzzy language, just when the whole entertainment world was buzzing about diversity and inclusion. While the rest of the industry was trying to get with the program with #Oscars so white, the Hallmark channel was churning out a whopping 86 films on its networks. And get this, only 6 of those had non-white folks as the romantic leads. Not a single one of them featured Black or Asian romantic leads. The big boss at the time, Bill Abbott, tried to sidestep the blame and said it was a problem for the whole industry. He admitted that others had made more progress, but they were doing the right thing, he said. But the network's diversity track record got another smack in the face in 2019 when they dropped their first ever Hanukkah films, Double Holiday and Holiday Date. Christopher Polaha dished out details on his film, Double Holiday, and said,
I got a full immersion in the holidays. So my manager's Jewish, Sally Ware, and her family, and they were on vacation in the South of France, and I had to learn the blessing, which is Baruch atah Eloheinu Adonai. There's a whole thing, and you sing it.
You learned the whole thing in Hebrew?
And she sang it for me, so she went off into this like quiet little room.
Writers at Deseret News described them as movies where a Jewish character ditches Hanukkah and goes all in on Christmas, making the Jewish characters seem like mere decorations. And a religious studies professor from Rowan University, Deanna Ashton, even said that if this was an attempt at being inclusive, it was a major flop. To give credit where it's due, as of now, the Hallmark channel has seriously stepped up its diversity game. In 2021, they finally gave us a Hanukkah-centered film, 8 Gifts of Hanukkah, and the new head boss, Wanya Lucas, said about 25% of their movies that year had some diversity in them. So it looks like they're trying to get with the times. Moving on, former Home and Family host Mark Steins filed a lawsuit against Hallmark Channel's parent company, Crown Media, claiming that he was terminated as retaliation for reporting harassment within the network. Steins, who had been the face of the popular show for 6 years until his abrupt removal in May, and his performance on the show was excellent.
What we're going to do today is I'm going to show Wes and you how to take a reclaimed pallet and turn it into 2 rustic-looking wall shelves, and they can be used for wine, they can use them for books, you can use them for gardening tools or whatever. There's endless options.
It was alleged that he was fired after standing up for 2 female staff members who accused executive producer Woody Fraser of sexual harassment. Steins paints a disturbing picture of a hostile work environment at Home and Family, one that was allegedly created by Fraser. According to the complaint, Fraser is accused of regularly bullying, verbally abusing, and harassing cast and crew members. Specifically, Steins claims that Fraser would make sexually inappropriate comments about female guests during tapings. Furthermore, he allegedly subjected female co-workers to unwelcome hugs. Fraser, a veteran in the world of daytime television, had preemptively denied these allegations back in June 2017 when they were first brought up, and they had not been made publicly until recently. In his lawsuit, Steins asserts that his termination came shortly after he supported the 2 women who had made sexual harassment claims against Fraser. Attorney Lisa Bloom, who is also representing the 2 women, now represents Steins. She explained, "The law protects witnesses and employees who oppose sexual harassment in their workplace, because we know that victims can rarely win their cases alone. We need male allies like Mark to speak up. Retaliation against those who do is illegal." Crown Media responded to the lawsuit, stating that Steins' termination was a measured decision driven by declining ratings and negative public perception of him. They also expressed surprise at Lisa Bloom's involvement, given her consulting agreement with the company. However, Steins is not taking his termination lightly. In his complaint, he alleges that his exit was handled unprofessionally, aimed at humiliating him personally and damaging his professional reputation. He is suing for retaliation and wrongful discharge, among other claims. When Steins was initially let go, Crown Media provided vague reasons, citing creative differences, but assuring that it was not for cause. The news came as a shock to both him and the show's fans, as Home and Family had recently received an Emmy nomination and experienced rising ratings. This lawsuit adds another layer to the ongoing conversation surrounding workplace harassment and retaliation. It highlights the importance of standing up against such behavior, regardless of one's gender, and emphasizes that workplace justice should prevail for all. The outcome of this case will undoubtedly be closely watched, as it may set a precedent for how allegations of harassment and retaliation are handled within the entertainment industry. Moving on, this past year Hallmark has opened a lane of LGBTQ representation, including gay actors and a whole line of LGBTQIA greeting cards, but this was not always the case. People started noticing the lack of LGBTQ characters in their films, and in 2017, Times Standard questioned them about it. The former senior vice president of publicity, Pam Slay, basically said they didn't want to focus on issues and just wanted everyone to feel good after watching their stuff. In other words, they weren't too keen on including queer stories, especially when they'd already been hiring gay actors to play straight roles. But things changed in 2020 when they dropped The Christmas House, featuring real-life husbands Jonathan Bennett and Brad Harder, making it the first openly gay couple in a Hallmark film. Here's a preview.
Got a heck of a task ahead of us, and it's gonna take a strong will and a mighty heart to get it all done.
She's been like this all week.
This is the Christmas House punch list and schedule divided by category and chores for each person.
It was a big step in the right direction for representation, no doubt about it. But of course, there's always a twist in the tale before real change happens. Up next, you know Hilarie Burton, the actress from all those Hallmark Channel movies in the 2010s? Well, she dropped a Twitter bombshell, spilling the tea about why she said bye-bye to Hallmark flicks. She wanted more diversity and inclusivity in their casts. In her tweet, Burton opened up about walking away from a Hallmark gig in January. Why? She wanted gay characters, mixed-race couples, and a more diverse cast on screen. She didn't beat around the bush and said she'd been super polite, direct, and professional about it. But the channel responded by giving her an ultimatum: take it or leave it. Well, guess what? She bounced, and that paycheck went with her. And Burton really wanted that gig, and walking away wasn't easy. But she felt like she was being punished for standing up for inclusivity. She didn't hold back, saying the problem goes all the way up to the top of the Hallmark food chain. In her own words, "The bigotry comes from the top and permeates the whole deal over there." Ouch, that's a harsh critique. But it's not all bad in Burton's world. She gave a big shout out to Lifetime TV for being all about inclusive Christmas magic. "Love is love," she declared, and she's not backing down. And she also mentioned that her ability to walk away from the Hallmark deal came partly because her husband, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, is supportive and works hard. That's a stand-up partner right there. Now, Hallmark had to respond to these bombshell claims. Their rep said Hilarie Burton was not an employee of Crown Media Family Networks. Technically true, but it doesn't dismiss the challenges of pushing for more inclusivity in the entertainment biz. They tried to do some damage control and said diversity and inclusion are super important to them, even teasing some LGBTQ+ projects in the works. George Crissa, from The Holiday Sitter, talked about the gay community and upcoming holiday films in an interview too.
If you watch the countdown to Christmas this year, there's LGBTQ folks all over the place. And what's really wonderful in what they're doing is they're not making a big deal out of it.
It's a reminder that change often requires courage and conviction, and sometimes it means saying goodbye to what you once loved. Burton's story is a testament to that, and it sparked a conversation that goes far beyond the cozy holiday movie sets we're used to seeing on Hallmark. Now, moving on, when the local newspaper announced a casting call for a Hallmark Christmas movie, the residents of Gibsons couldn't resist the opportunity. The town turned into a magical winter wonderland for the filming of a Christmas carousel based on some book series called Christian Godwinks. Here's a little behind the scenes for you.
They want us to restore your great-grandfather's Christmas carousel.
And Katie is the one with that Casanova prince.
Can't wait to meet him.
Are you okay?
Perfectly.
So, you think everything's all good, right? Leslie Haratt and her crew were pumped to be extras in this movie, expecting that classic Hallmark charm. But things went south for Haratt real quick. On the first day of shooting, she got sidelined because of her skin color. She got to be in a scene where folks gathered to watch the Christmas tree lighting, but when it came to the romantic couple part, they told her to take a seat. Can you believe that? She was shocked and taken aback. The casting person dropped a bomb, saying that Hallmark supposedly had a no-go on showing interracial couples in their flicks. Now, Hallmark's parent company, Crown Media, had to chime in. They said they ain't got no policy, spoken or unspoken, against interracial couples in their shows. They made it clear they're all about diversity and being sensitive in their content, trying to steer clear of offensive stereotypes and treating everyone with respect. But here's where it gets juicy. Some anonymous insiders from the film scene in British Columbia spilled the beans, saying there's been this interracial policy floating around in Hallmark productions for a minute. Folks were too scared to speak up because Hallmark movies are a big deal up there, and they were afraid of the consequences. So Haratt and her buddies, they're not going to be watching A Carousel Christmas when it airs on TV. This whole thing left a bad taste in their mouths, like old school prejudices creeping into their own backyard. Haratt's wondering why they're talking diversity if they're gonna roll it back to the days of discrimination. It's a bummer that even behind the magical facade of Hallmark movies, stuff like this creeps up, reminding us that there's still work to do to make the entertainment world truly inclusive and representing. So which of these shady ongoings shocked you guys the most? Let us know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed our content, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, everyone.